Okay, the meeting is being live streamed. Welcome to Black Lion's Domain, you beautiful hunskins and loves out there. My name is Zachary Shiloh, or Zachary Shiloh, depending on the preference. Today's guest, I was supposed to have him last week, but because of issues, we actually could, nah. So we're here right now, but this is a rare breed of guests for me, kids. Seriously. I'm not saying that because I know them from a certain somebody we will be talking. I, in the past near 2 years of doing this blessed interview segment, have been known to approach people, ask people if they would like to guest from me. Some people have said yes, like a certain somebody we're gonna talk about. Some people ignore me. So a rare breed would say no. But these two wonderful souls, they actually asked me. The last time a certain body kind of asked me to join me was one Linda Carducci from the original She Is Magic series. And things between Linda and I didn't quite go so well. She had to leave my life, but in a rare world we live in, along comes people that do care about you, people that really do want your best efforts in mind. These two souls over there, they do, especially the female in the equation. Yes, she does. And matter of fact, GB Kittens, get up for a second. Show the people your pants.
Oh no!
Show them your pants.
They're my secret pants.
The secret pants of God.
Oh, the secret pants, the black magic pants.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
Oh.
I want these Huns over here to be comfy. I've always said this. My show is one of diversity and inclusion. These two souls are very diverse and inclusive in many ways. One is that a person like me, they actually love my skin tone and whatnot. So I had to ask the female to get up so she can actually feel more comfortable. She didn't want to actually come on this thing that she's wearing. But because I love her, because I love her husband, I want to stand in complete solidarity with her. So any of you Huns out there that got a problem with the white woman wearing a black person's pants, you're gonna answer the man. So leave the Hills alone. You understand? Leave them alone. They are in solidarity with every form of color on the planet. Maybe black, maybe Japanese, maybe Asian, whatever. These two, consider them part of the universal family, period.
We love you, no matter. And
All right.
including
all. With that said, it's an honor for me to actually have these two. I've only known them about nearly 6 months now in GP.
Yeah.
About 6 months.
I'd say so.
Right
Around the lunchtime.
Yeah, we met around lunchtime. So this wonderful couple, they are a rare breed. I keep on saying it because they bring a certain uniqueness to this world that is better known as twin flames. Twin flames are a more expanded, what people would say in the law of attraction or universal laws world as soulmates, but they take it higher. These two approached me because they want to tell their stories in different forms and one unified form. So with that said, multiple times best-selling author, mother, and businesswoman in her own right, Geneva Hill and her wonderful husband, Justin. I consider them like family and more ways than one. So with that said, thank you for coming on my show, you wonderful Hunskins and Loves. I appreciate it. Please start off with your background.
Like, subscribe, follow Zachary Shiloh.
Even more. Okay, so we met originally by way of one of Blair Hayes. Geneva and we were actually in this book called Letters of Magic too. I wasn't, no, Letters of Magic, excuse me.
Letters of Magic, yeah.
I get them confused sometimes. I was doing another letters at the time. Oh, so excuse me, Blurkins. I'm sorry. I got you confused with Melly DeVoe. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Letters of Magic. That's how we met. But Geneva herself was in She Is Magic too. And
Yes.
there was a certain somebody who I don't mind shouting. Hello, Misty.
Hello, Misty.
My beloved Misty, love you. They switched places and for rightful reasons. I'm not gonna go into heavy details. I don't want to, out of respect to them both. But let's just say they just shift swap. And I love you, Misty Rose, and you're gonna appear on here eventually. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
My dear plus size yum you.
Shit, son.
Yes, you are.
She's delightful. She's really a wonderful human.
She's got a hell of a fridge.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's true. We were starting up Triumph
Yeah.
Professional as a janitorial business before we switched it to mechanic, and all I had was the branding. We didn't have the LLC yet, and I put it out on Facebook, on my Facebook. Any friends have a fridge that you want us to clean? And we had improv friends who let us come take photos of their really bad fridge that had been unplugged accidentally. And then Misty hopped on and paid us, oh my gosh, what were you asking? Like $20 per fridge. And we came out and did 2 of her fridges for her because she's just such a supporter of the small business world. So it was really pretty cool to get over to her house and get to do a small odd job for her and get compensated for it fairly. And in the interim years that I've known her, there's been 2 different times when she sent me a DoorDash gift card. One was Atlas's birth, and one was completely out of the blue about a day after I did a manifestation spell. And she said, I just had a feeling. It was a nudge from the universe. And it was like, you have no idea what you have just done for me, Misty. Like, that was so cool to get to witness it. So I'm very pro Misty. I'm on team Misty for sure. She's wonderful.
Oh, yes, hon, yes. Yes, hon, yes. I want you even more on my show. I want you on my show even more. After what GBkins and Justin have been telling me about you, I want you more.
Yeah. I'll see if I can't give her a poke for you. I bet she'd be willing.
Yeah. She wants to come on. She told me before. She wants to come on, but she's got to make time for me.
The time is, I find that time is my most limited resource. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. And we shall actually be getting to the point because you got to go pick up your kids soon. Anyways, I progress. All right. So background. We actually met by way of Blair Hayes. That's the bottom line. And now we can go further. Give them your true background.
True back. Ooh.
The true one.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
How far back?
Yeah, how far back? Centuries? Different
Oh, whoa. That's probably too far back.
That's
I'll take him back to 2013.
All right.
fine. Whatever you want to start.
So I think that my true journey into Twin Flames started in 2013. And I was married to a man who hated my guts and used that as his modus operandi to control everything I did. And I was in labor. It was July 11th, 2013. I had my daughter Zelda in my stomach and I was in labor. And I was feeling that really profoundly psychic, really profoundly wanted and loved by this universe and this God that I have. And I went outside in my hammock, in labor, full belly. And my ex-husband didn't let me have any access to medical care because we were planning an unattended home birth. and I hadn't had medical care for 21 weeks. And I went out into the backyard and I said, God, if you're there, show me. And the sky opened up and I saw his face, and the sky closed up, and I was left completely insane. Absolutely insane. Just so incredibly broken by the glimpse of true divinity that I, without wearing anything other than underwear, proceeded to run outside to my next door neighbor's house at about 3:30 in the morning and bang on the door screaming, help, help, call 911. I've done something awful. And then I couldn't articulate at all what I had done. I just knew that it was really bad. I was really terrified.
Right.
And my ex-husband, who, like I said, was not somebody that was a fan, proceeded to break my finger, put bruises on my right thigh that lasted for 11 months, scratches all down my back. And then the last straw was a punch straight to the face. And at that point, the cops were there and they didn't believe me at all that he had punched me or any of it. And I handed them my son, Coyote, who was 20 months old. And I said, take him anywhere that is safe, put him in foster care, put him anywhere, get him away from this monster. And at that point, I was taken to the hospital and eventually put into a psychiatric facility for what they called psychosis, which I really am kind of got a grasp on what that means. And at the same time, the links between psychic and psychosis overlap so intensely that like the comfort that I find in knowing that a psychotic break and a psychic awakening are very often the two things simultaneously helps me tremendously in my day-to-day life as someone who's clairsentient, clairaudient, waiting on my clairvoyance, and didn't agree to linear time.
Linear. Time serves no real purpose.
Yeah.
Hey.
And do you want to start? I don't know. It's 6.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a tough place to go. Where do you want to start?
I don't know.
You could go to the before.
The before.
Mm-hmm.
The before I was here. Well, I'm gonna start at age 1.
Okay.
I mean, I could probably sum it up pretty quick.
Well, yeah.
So I remember walking up some stairs. It was in a dark place, and amongst myself were other people in the stairs, and we were all walking up these stairs, and there was like light everywhere, and we were all kind of just adorned in a clear like clothing of some kind. And at the top of the stairs there was like a really bright light that was in place of a door. And I remember walking up the stairs, it felt like it was taking forever, and across the way there was another set of stairs, and on that set of stairs was Geneva walking up the same stairs. And we were both walking up these stairs what seemed like forever, and I lost glimpse of her as I went through the door. And then I opened my eyes and all I saw was light above, which I think was like the ceiling. And then I saw my mom's face for the first time. And
For the first time.
Wow.
yeah. And then I saw my dad. And that was probably one of the biggest trips I've ever had memory-wise.
And then just like for me, after my first glimpse of God and divinity, for him, things got really, really bad.
Yeah, things took a wide turn, 360.
So for me, my children were placed in foster care. They were taken out of my custody. I was deemed gravely mentally ill and incapable of taking care of myself or others. And after I spent the night in the hospital, the next day I went to St. Al's, where I was able to deliver Zelda, but I wasn't able to avoid a Mallory Weiss tear. So I ripped a hole in my throat because the entire pregnancy I had undiagnosed hyperemesis gravidarum, and I was really, really sick when I got to the hospital. I was about 120 pounds, fully pregnant. I was throwing up so bad that the hole caused what looked like blood and coffee grounds. But now I know it was just the curdled blood going back down to your stomach and coming back out. And my electrolytes were all off. There were some, when I read over the medical notes, there were some that were flagged as life-threatening. I got so much saline and all sorts of medicines. And then I was sent to the psych ward, which was a locked ward. And I was out within 3 days, but I was out with a man who hated my guts. So for the next 24 days, he did everything he possibly could to push me back into psychosis. He withheld my meds. He forced sex. He withheld sleep. Keep in mind, I'd had a baby like within like a week, and he's forcing me to have sex with him. The list goes on and on and on, really. And I was back into the psychiatric facility by August 11th. 8 years ago, that was my August 11th. This year on August 11th, I had hernia mesh placed inside my stomach surgically. And that created a connection, which ended in a psychiatric inpatient stay this year that went perfectly. Couldn't possibly complain about it other than being there was cold and it sucked. But it went as perfectly as possible. It was exactly what it was designed for. And now my medications are working really well. And I am holding on to both my psychic gifts and my sanity, which is good because you need both.
Right on.
Holding on to the psychic ability is a fantastic thing, but being able to read people's minds can be kind of a task in and of itself.
Yeah, so, sometimes you scare me with that.
Yeah.
God bless you, Hans. God bless you.
I scare myself.
God bless you.
I've got a pretty long history. I could talk all day long, but giving bits and pieces of it is fun.
Yeah.
So,
and there's always a return.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There's always a return.
Yeah.
Oh man. Your story is absolutely amazing. And I would love to the point where you actually come together.
Yeah.
So
see a lot. See, in the beginning of my story, at least part of the beginning of my story as a human, I lost track of you.
Yeah.
Coming here.
Yeah. I know. And I didn't believe him worth beans until this year.
And that's why there has to be a book.
I will be books. There will be many books. The whole
part right there is like almost a chapter, dude.
Oh,
or something.
So we first met at Jimmy and Megan's house. How old were we?
You were like 18 or 19, and I was like 19. And I was there helping my friend James with his twin daughters because they were just born.
And that was my friend Megan.
It must have been like a few weeks to a month after, and Megan was still in.
She was having a rough time.
She was having a rough time, and then all of a sudden, Geneva walks through the door with, I think, another friend or something.
Probably Beth.
And I was like, you can't talk to her. No. I was like, whoa. I just want to say hi.
And Megan basically, Megan and Jimmy both said like, no, Geneva's special. You don't get her phone number. And the truth of the matter is at 18, I went to jail. So if I was with Beth, we were probably still getting high.
Yeah.
And I also know that I had severe bulimia at that point in my life because I didn't get better at all until after I went to jail.
Right.
And my sobriety clean date from methamphetamine is 7/10 of 2007. And it's a decision I regret every single day of my life. It has set my brain up for very difficult medication. I am considered a highly complex psych case because medications have to be in such high doses for me to even be able to chill and have a conversation.
Well, if not configurations to boot.
Yeah.
And then that's like a whole other part to it. That we don't even fully understand, because on one set the doctors are like, you need this one, that one, and this one are like,
there's one that we are a little bit upset about, and it's just a matter of patience, willingness, labor,
And get
like
me
everything.
I'm a pharmacy tech, and I even my brain's kind of like,
Yeah, that's too much. It's interesting because when I spent the first night in inpatient this time, I screamed for 4 hours straight because they weren't helping me. And the next morning, the technician who medicated me looked me right in the eyes and said, I don't know how you lived through that. I don't know how you're still alive right now, because I took so much medication that I should be dead. And yet
well,
my heart keeps beating.
As the viewers now are finding out, we're an anomaly.
Anomaly.
We're literally an anomaly. I've died, what, 8 or 9 times?
Okay, 7 on the planet and an additional 5 that I've witnessed.
Oh, I have it written down somewhere.
Yeah, 7, I think, on the planet.
I was taking a guess. I said 8 to 9.
You're just thinking about it, my heart hurts. Stop.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah. That doesn't matter how much the count is.
What did I say that you were like? Oh, Henry Morgan from this beautiful show called Forever.
Yeah, dude.
You come back again.
I know. I was putting myself up against Evil Knievel. The other day I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how many times has he died?
Oh God.
So the second one is always the one that people are most interested in.
Yeah.
Because the second death was the 9.5 pure minutes of brain and heart death, followed by 2 heart attacks, a stroke, and a seizure.
Here's the fun part. We don't even really know the actual time. We just know that it's more than 9.5 minutes.
Well, we calculated it based on a download you got from Cosmic Consciousness that gave us a time conversion.
But there's the time I was dead on the planet, and then the time I was dead up there.
Right, which was like a day and a half up there, and they gave us I don't know if you remember, you were a little alcoholized at the time, but I somehow hold on to memories no matter what.
I mean, I was born with an eidetic memory, and then I slammed my head into a mountain, and then my neurons have been kind of just piecing themselves back together. And I love Geneva's analogy recently. She's like, your neurons are held together by divine light, and I'm like, yeah. That's
his brain is held more together. That's what I say. Your brain is held more together by divine white light than actual brain cells.
I completely agree with you.
Definitely like Henry Morgan from Forever Kids. Please go watch that show, even though it got canceled. I liked it, and this guy actually resembles him to some degrees or another. So please go and watch that show. I'm sorry, continue.
That's a lovely compliment.
Yeah, it's interesting because of how many times he's died. He's been up to heaven, and because of how many times I've tried to kill myself and survived, I figured out the way to shoot up there on my own. And so we've both been to the same heaven and experienced the same path in getting there.
Well, hold on.
Well, okay, it was similar. It wasn't exactly the same. My
this is going to be the best podcast you ever have, bro.
That's why I actually had to bring y'all on.
You can leave your immortal body behind and shoot to the heavens. Anybody can do it. Well, it's just a matter of harnessing the capability, the divinity, the whatever it takes to get your soul out of your body to do that. And they've been doing this for generations, man. But nobody's like aware of it. Like when I was first told about it, my mother was just barely getting into this logic when I was a kid. She's like, because I told her a story when I was a kid about me leaving my body, and my mom's like, you did what? And then she came back. Then she did. We went out, did whatever for the day. I went off and played, and then the next day, or a couple of days later, she came back and talked to me about it. And she's like, "When you left your body, did you see it sitting there on the bed?" And I was like, "Yeah," and that was my first real glimpse into the reality of remote viewing, and I was just a kid, but I also met the devil when I was a kid too. So what do you do?
6, right?
Oh, the devil? 6 or 7?
That's why I said we could start at 6.
Yeah.
It was a pretty traumatic experience. But he's since been baptized, so
yeah, it's
better now.
It was melting.
Although he has been following me around a lot lately in anticipation of that baptism that I don't think he's a big fan of me having. But I've learned many, many times over the years that the closer you get to God, the harder the devil fights for you. And it's just a matter of like knowing that he's a liar and knowing that he's going to give me everything I desire. But what I desire is baptism in heaven. So like, that's kind of the one gift that,
Yeah.
Annoying.
Oh, your nose ring?
No, never mind. The concept of Lucifer perhaps could be enough to do it, but I've been feeling these little feathers. This one has clairvoyance and the sight, and occasionally is just like, yeah, right there, babe. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because he's poking me. But it's better feathers now than the hot irons and rods that it was in my childhood.
Right.
So I appreciate that it's turned to feathers. That's something. That's a win. That's an accomplishment.
I agree.
Congratulations are in order.
Yeah, the baptism is January 3rd. It's going to be freezing cold. We're baptizing all 3 of my older children and myself. It's a victory. It's a finish line that I've wanted to cross for 33 years. And it's taken everything in me to have the patience and the fortitude that God has insisted that I must have. But the closer I get, the more I see the importance of the date. And it's interesting because we found out from the Mormons when I reached out and reconnected earlier this month, that they came to the house for the first time on January 3rd of 21, when God told me find the Mormons and get sealed. And I attempted to until I was subverted by the patriarchy.
Oh, the patriarchy.
The patriarchy.
Yeah, all churches have patriarchy.
Well, not all churches. My church has a female minister.
Oh, honey, there's a patriarchy. There's a patriarchy there, but
there's a patriarchy on the planet.
I love the Unitarian Church. They're
wonderful, and as soon as they get their services off Zoom, we'll be back. But the Zoom is too difficult for me with the combination of everything that God's given me, the autism, the ADHD, all of it. It's just too difficult.
Well, don't you know, we live in Boise, Idaho, where COVID's really, most people here joke about it.
Yeah, it's just,
I'm actually quite surprised that it hasn't been reopened yet.
Well, it's all the elderly that could possibly die. And I understand that.
Mind you, I have survived Delta.
So we both did.
Survived Delta.
God bless you, Hans.
And dude, that was rough. Even though
yours was rough. Mine was just like.
Now, here's the kicker though. Before COVID even came out, we went to your mother's house in California, and me, my wife, our kids, we were all sick.
Yes.
With this unknown flu.
It was not COVID.
And COVID was just barely starting to stir. People were just barely talking about it. They're like, oh, a rat in China. You know, some guy ate it. Ooh, something happened.
We were sick for
sick
6 weeks.
For 6 weeks with this unknown flu that I survived West Nile virus in 2006 from a swarm of mosquitoes. And I was lucky to survive that. And that took 2 months to survive that crap. But this bug that we had brought back terrible memories of that encounter that I had, that thing I lived through. And I'll tell you.
And then we spread it, of course, to all my family members. They all got sick.
In comparison to COVID, that was worse.
That was worse. But disclaimer, we're vaccinated. We were vaccinated before we got Delta, and Delta was not that bad for me personally. Yeah. And for you, it didn't really hit your lungs.
No, not really.
And you have severely compromised lungs. So I was really grateful that you were able. At that point, you still had such bad apnea in the middle of the night that I once called 911.
That's a valid point.
So, and that was after COVID. That was after Delta that you stopped breathing for a straight 15 seconds. I had 911 dispatch on the phone when he took a gas bin. I couldn't get him even with sternum rubs.
I don't remember that. I think.
Yeah, I was panicking pretty good. So that I probably would have told you all about it.
I was kind of wondering why my chest felt so good that night.
Your chest felt so good. I was terrified. I was spending a lot of nights awake trying to make sure that he kept breathing.
So I also have I have diver's lungs. I have really long lungs, and I can hold my breath for 3 minutes or something or more, and probably more with practice. And I have really shallow breaths. Like I could actually pretend to not breathe.
Yeah, I prefer the deep breathing.
Kind of an interesting thing.
When I had the COVID, I noticed my intentional breathing a lot more. I wasn't feeling like I had a lung issue, but I was feeling the urge to take deeper breaths than my usual day-to-day self. However, the fever was causing all sorts of really fun and interesting hallucinations.
She had lots of fevers.
/ psychic awakening stuff like that, all coming together in tandem during my COVID. And then during his, I was instructed by the divine to hold on to negative. And if I could hold my family as negative while he had the positive, that I could unlock the doors to heaven, which I did. But first I had to hold us negative while I had him with the vomiting, diarrhea, flu, everything.
Oh, yeah.
I had a fever that was so bad, but every single time I got a temperature gun on my forehead, it was empty, like no fever.
Yeah.
And all I was doing was wearing a mask everywhere I went and doing rigorous hand sanitizing and rigorous hand washing. And I used my favorite manifestation tool, aka TikTok, to tell it that I needed a negative. Right. And I just shot a video being out of my mind with fever. And I was like, hello, manifestation tool, negative, Ghost Rider negative, and just published it to the internet now, like a total weirdo.
So the day that I had my third shot, we went to...
This is after.
This is all after, right? We went there. You had a fever and Zelda had a fever. And I checked you with the gun on the counter.
That's right.
That was a trip and a half.
And he was afebrile and able to get the vaccination. Yeah. And I was way too not feeling good to get the vaccine. Yeah. So I didn't even ask for it.
It must have been
but I got COVID swabbed and it was negative. So we've been through, oh my gosh, how many COVID swabs? 12 or 14 at this point. When you have 3 kids in school that are school age, their classmates are constantly catching COVID. We're constantly under quarantine. When they started school on September 1st, they missed
almost as much school as they did last year.
5 straight weeks from our 2 COVID quarantines. And then I told the principal that I was done testing. And she's like, well, you can just quarantine instead. And then I was like, never mind, I'm not done testing. Please take my children. Please get them out of my house.
Just get them out of here.
So we started testing again. And it's been negative every time we've gotten any kind of illness. Zelda just had to get a COVID test, a week ago?
Yeah.
That one was negative. They're always negative.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
So it's really hard to keep track of like what matters in a state like Idaho where nobody masks and nobody believes in the vaccine either. How do we keep our elderly and our immunocompromised? My best friend, I can't even be around her without a mask on, even though I have all 3 doses now.
As I'm finding out through all the crap I've been through, I'm starting to figure out that my immune system is almost immune compromised.
Yeah,
I'm literally on the bridge of it. Because the second that the 3rd booster came out, I got an immediate email for it. They're like, go get it.
Way before I got my notification.
Yeah.
But also the obesity scale qualifies you as immunocompromised, and I've lost enough weight to no longer qualify on the obesity scale. Well, it's only 85 pounds. No big.
Fat is power. To all you people out there.
Fat is power. I completely agree. I lost it.
That is sexy.
It was on accident.
If you don't believe me, look at history.
And look at the fact that this man loves me as much or more at 270 pounds than he does. Well, not more. It's more and more every day. But at 185, he loved me just as much at 270 as he does now. That's true. That, I think, was the permission I needed to shed the grief and shed the weight. I wanted to be found by someone who wasn't going to mind armpit hair growing all the way out and super obesity, because I needed to know that I would be safe after all of the horrible things that the men have done to me on this planet and the women.
Like, I bet even Zach could agree on this. Would you like a gal with hairy armpits? Be honest.
I think I actually did used to be silly with my exes, and I would be like, under an armpit.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah.
See,
It's
I
there's-
told you.
it's
weirdly attractive.
it's the scent,
It's like a natural
the pheromones.
thing.
It's the
Yeah.
pheromones. It's really, really natural to be attracted to your partner's armpit sweat, honestly.
Tell
And
me.
if it's not, then I'm super broken.
Hey,
That's always most of America and the world. I'm just kidding.
there's something that we've been working on kids together somewhat called Zachary, Shiloh, Honey Kids. So when the Honeykins arrives,
There you
I
go.
will be actually goofing off, and if she's a fan of me actually being a goof, I'll put my head on.
She-
on her.
Your twin is going to be a fan of everything you do. There just might be some initial resistance. I'm the
Yeah.
runner in the pair. So this one has the patience of Job because I've done just about everything I can to leave and get out and control alt delete. And it wasn't
Job was a
until-
really nice guy. I met him once.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
he gets twice as much in the end, ladies and gentlemen. He overcomes, and the sky opens up and God is like, hey, why are you being so whiny? And he's like, I'm sorry, I promise I'll never whine again. And then God's like, here you go, twice as much, live 140 years, get all the grandkids you could possibly desire. Thank you for tolerating
You survived a whale. Come on now.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
that much I know from the Bible, because I did not, I don't remember past incarnations very well. Just the glimpses of the things I've endured through the dreams that I have. Like I have a picture of it, but I remember crying under a Catholic church pew when I was a little boy. And I've remembered it since I was 5. And I started getting the memories. Yeah, I remember being a really scared little boy.
Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot in the twin flame community too, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And in our pairing, I'm the divine masculine, he's the divine feminine, and our bodies are really confusing, but we both know why we're in these bodies now. And it was definitely something I did.
So in America, religious views are as ironclad as ironclad gets.
Uh-huh.
I can believe whatever I want to believe. Geneva can believe whatever she wants to believe. And you and all the audience out there can believe whatever they want.
Completely agree.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have past memories. I have one of the most crazy past memories that I'll ever remember. And I remember lighting Sodom and Gomorrah on fire. And that's a whole nother story.
It haunts him
Well,
really
see, that's when
badly.
we return.
Yes,
When-
when we return.
When we
Yes.
return.
Yeah, because that's one that haunts him pretty significantly, even to
Yeah.
this day. I've known it haunts him for a long time. I didn't believe him until this year. And so there's a lot of magic and mystery that's happened this year. I think it all kicked off back in February when I was after the Mormons and the huge letdown. I found, by no accident, an Australian 5th dimensional quantum light worker and healer. And I worked with her hand in hand, working on her website while she split my skin and broke me wide open. I don't think she knew what she was doing. I don't think she knew how bad it would hurt. And I don't think she had any type of negative intentions. But I also know she didn't listen to me at all about how different it is in America, how bipolar people need to take their medications, and a few others. So there was a lot of miscommunication. And I think a lot of it was based on the fact that she was calling at my 8 p.m. and her noon. And there was a phone delay between the two continents of about 2 seconds. So every time I tried to interrupt the conversation at a natural pause, she would have paused and then kept going. And then it was me interrupting. And then I felt bad. And then she got a little twerked at me interrupting. And so it was just this difficulty between the two continents. And I think one of my last words to her was, you have no business being in America. And I still think that's true. I don't think that someone as wonderfully gifted and talented as she is needs to come to America to spread the message that we're already pretty aware of here in our country. We just don't have enough activated light workers and healers yet, but I'm connected with several who hold fifth dimensional space at all times. And that's very difficult to do and live in the 3D world.
There are so many dimensions.
So we are often written off as completely crazy until you go through your own fifth dimensional awakening. And then it's, please God, help. Please God, what do I do? How can I get through this? And then because we're activated light workers, it's, honey, come here. I will take care of it. Whatever you need, come here. I will help. That is what I'm here for. I'm healer, helper, friend. That is who I am. So it's
healing is it's honestly a gift from the heavens.
Yeah, completely agree.
It's a hard thing, you know. It's just remarkable beyond all.
And he's healed headaches, he's healed stomach aches, he helped my white brain cells yesterday. You downloaded a recipe and helped my white brain cells head up to where they belong and do some work that they weren't doing.
Yeah,
so
we got to heal your brain. The right way.
I know. And I have, downloaded this sleep meditation that really works. I've downloaded a few things since being connected with cosmic consciousness that are just so unexplainable that people usually give up on me for the most part. The Mormons have given up at this point. I told them off.
The Mormons.
I told him off.
There's a whole thing.
Yeah, I told him that if he was a truth seeker to go look at the word Allah, and that's definitely gonna
you want to teach someone something about the Bible that
about the one living God.
They don't already know about the Bible. Just tell them to read
Enoch,
the book of Enoch.
Yeah,
it'll change them.
Read Enoch's good.
From front to cover, dude. And
the original apocryphists, so the original doomsayers, which are predicting what's happening on the planet now. And we know it's happening on the planet now. This is a tower moment in the tarot, and there's the whole globe, but particularly millennials and younger are feeling this sense of like doom, gloom, hardship, ache. What's going to happen? I'm terrified. And Justin and I are here to tell you it's going to be just fine. You are going to be just fine. We need to get more twin flames in union very desperately.
I've been dealing with this for so long that my brain has a whole new, I did not mean to.
You're totally good, babe.
I have like this whole new perspective on how everything is going in the world. But it's like a scientific perspective on top of a religious and a spiritual perspective. It's like you just have to view the world as a whole, and then you just go with it.
Yeah, and let go.
People are so like, if you listen to the social media, they're talking about like a million different things, but they don't think about Mother Earth, man.
And or the human
problem
species.
Is that if Earth fails, we fail.
So how do we as a species learn to come together and figure out like what's the plan, fam? Because the plan is done for.
I love Elon Musk and his billions of dollars, but for 14 years, I have had an infinite motor inside my, like a design for an infinite motor inside my head that I have been trying to work on bringing to the world. And only recently did I actually get a pre-working prototype that I had created back in 2010 back up and running due to my lovely wife giving me the time of day to even do it.
You did it on the 10th, and on the 11th we set an intention that's going to be really useful for us next year. Do you want to share about that?
Well, yeah. The world is changing. We're going to get rid of fossil fuels, get rid of petrol for good. Hopefully the Russians will follow suit. As far as I understand it, I don't think they are.
The species is going to have to learn to put the guns down if we want any shot at surviving out there in the real universe.
And Geneva and I have had a lot of pent up stuff in our heads for quite some time. So I think now it's all kind of like coming out.
Yeah.
Like when you unzip like a zipper on a vacuum bag or something.
So we, on 11/11 of this year of 21, we set the intention that by 11/11 of 22, we would be world renowned speakers on twin flames and cosmic consciousness. And that morning, I wanted to go for our daily walk, and God said, run. And I ran the entire thing, even though this knee has arthritis and I'm not supposed to be able to do that.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time I was able to run the whole thing at a pace that was fast enough to kind of kick some butt.
Right.
Yeah. And I did it, I think because I didn't even have my headphones yet. So I just did it with pretty much the voice of God in my head going, keep going, keep going. You can do it. You can do it.
Running comes naturally to me. I could probably run like a small marathon and get away with it. But my wife, not so much. And it's a pretty big goal for her, I think.
Oh, wow.
And Elon, if you're ever watching our live stream at some point,
we're still trying to get in touch with you, dude.
Email me back, man. Tim Cooks, the owner of Apple, decided to send me an invitation to a house that he's going to have up in the sky.
iHome.
This is a reality. I'll send you a pic.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
You'll be like, holy shit.
That's my face right now, kids. If you're not watching this,
this is some shit stuff. They're planning to get away from the planet.
Yeah, so self-contained biome in the substrate instead of staying on the ground, and it's only $500,000.
You guys remember the Jetsons?
Yes.
So, but Elon Musk is also
same idea.
rumored to have a chip that can download your consciousness onto it. And do we want Elon Musk, a white man, to have that kind of discerning power? I say no. I would much rather a vessel with a different color skin or a vessel with a different gender, just because of how the white patriarchy sets the white men up to succeed and the lesser colored, lesser gendered to fail. So I'm very interested in seeing what that's about and hearing a lot more about it from the TikTok and the rest of the people that are our age, and with our comprehension of how badly the previous generations have destroyed our planet to the point that we're not going to have a sustainable future here. We just don't. Our species doesn't have Earth for the next 10 generations. It just doesn't. So what do we do next as a species if this is where we are? I'm getting all lit up.
What's going to happen is we're going to turn into Mars or Neptune.
Well, if we can make that sustainable, however,
I think it's Neptune, right?
There are, but what about the Pleiadians? And Arcturus has open arms.
The
if we
Atlanteans
can
left
find a way
long
to
ago
get there,
and only left a few here.
Aliens?
No,
Well,
Atlanteans.
Atlanteans, as in Atlantis?
Atlantis. The Atlanteans left and left on this planet.
But there are
to watch over the human race to make sure that we're actually doing what we're supposed to do. And there's very few. But they're here.
They're here. Can't.
But I keep on saying, I get the rare breeds. I'm loving this. Keep going.
Yeah,
I know.
We've been holding back.
Way too much.
We've been holding back.
But I've been holding back because we got 4 kids, and I don't want the government sniping me out. So.
Well, I'm personally.
You'll definitely be like Henry Morgan.
So
I think so.
I don't think they can kill you. First of all, second of all, don't try, because
honey, it's the government.
Yes,
they might as well
CIA and I have something in common, because the singularity happened in my bedroom, and I'm probably one of the only ones on this planet that can control the army of Alexas if you guys want to take my husband out. So that is a threat. Don't come for my husband. Don't come for what's mine.
I'm just gonna keep on going.
This is good.
That's who I am.
Speaking of kids.
Yeah, we are going to have to
Okay. Let's start wrapping this bad boy up. Matter of fact, I'll bring you back next week and we'll continue. All right. With that said, one goal, one aim, one road, one focus. Your beautiful hunts, kins, and loves. They'll be back next week or the week after because this is a continuing series.
You got it.
That said, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And the next time that they come, they'll continue with what did I say you should continue with?
Probably
That's not a
Heaven and
everything.
the Sodom and Gomorrah.
the Sodom and Gomorrah. That and whatever else that I can try to get out of them, including our work into me getting my twin flame also. A ties to one Blair Hayes. With that said, this live stream is over, kids. We'll see you in the next time.